What's up, you guys? It's your boy Trippy, and Kevin Holland versus Derek Brunson just got wrapped up, and so I thought I'd give my 2 cents on what's next for these two gentlemen, due to the fact that I didn't make a breakdown or prediction video for this fight because I don't know, but I'll go ahead and tell y'all my pick. I had Kevin Holland winning due to the fact that I thought that there was something in Derek Brunson that he was going to be able to capitalize on, because Derek Brunson makes a ton of mistakes offensively and defensively, but we'll get into that later. Although Kevin Holland ended up losing, and losing pretty bad. There wasn't enough damage to say Derek Brunson dominated him. Derek Brunson took him down and didn't really get off much, showing that Kevin Holland has legit defense on his back. He can defend himself down there, which is a good sign. But where the problem is that also it was pretty weird that he was not taking the fight serious, but it seemed like it at least. I didn't get that. A lot of the fans said that Kevin Holland wasn't taking it serious out there. I did not get that for a bit. Yes, I do think that he underestimates his competition, but I didn't get the fact that he wasn't taking it serious or that he wasn't trying. He was absolutely trying. The truth is that he just could not stop it. Derek Brunson is so strong in the clinch when he gets a hold of you and when he pushes you back, and with the wrestling, he's just extremely powerful. That's just what it is. Kevin Holland is a long, lanky, skinny guy who had the massive speed advantage and the unpredictability and wild chaos on the feet that could really confuse Brunson and get him. But Derek Brunson fought exactly the way he should have fought. He fought to the spot where he is best. And so when I was seeing that, I realized something. Kevin Holland has good bottom defense, but it's to stop him. It's the little situations where he can prevent all that from happening, because though he has good bottom defense, the dude couldn't make it back to his feet where he had the best advantage. He couldn't get back up. That's also due to the top control of Derek Brunson. Not trying to underestimate that for a second, but it's just that Kevin Holland has to work on his defensive grappling, not necessarily on the bottom. That's the holes that I take away from Kevin Holland, is that he has to work on that defensive grappling, man. He cannot, especially after other middleweights seeing that, like a Marvin Vettori and all those guys at the top that just saw this fight thinking, oh, I can just bully this guy around. Push him back against the cage. Derek Brunson basically had his way with the takedown. Another thing is that they both ended up gassing out, if y'all didn't notice. Kevin Holland was tired. That's another reason why he could not make it back up to his feet, is that this is his first time going 5 rounds. A lot of people forget that, or a lot of people know that actually. This is his first time in the spotlight, in his own spotlight, and he couldn't make it back up to the feet because he was tired after, I want to say, the 3rd round. That mid-3rd round, him and Brunson both were gassed. Especially Brunson, in that I believe it was the 5th where Kevin Holland took him down. I noticed that the only way Kevin Holland got that takedown was because Derek Brunson was gassed. But Kevin Holland really did, stop. He had more significant strikes from the bottom than Derek Brunson did. But he also ended up basically giving up a submission attempt. That was kind of weird. He had what looked like a choke for a second, but then he just kind of gave it up, and, they zoomed in on Kevin Holland's face. I thought that was a little weird, and I was like, oh, shoot, is he going to go out? But Derek Brunson just kind of gave up on it. He just gave up on it. I don't know, was it due to the defense of Kevin Holland or what? I mean, he just gave up on it. So, back to what I was saying. So, I did have Kevin Holland winning this fight. Why? Because of the unpredictability and the wild, chaotic exchanges that Kevin Holland throws out there and that he makes his opponent get into. And basically what happened in that 2nd round, where Kevin Holland rocked him and got Derek Brunson onto the ground. He rocked him. Also, that slip, I would count that. People weren't counting that as a knockdown. Whenever Derek Brunson caught Kevin Holland on the chin, when Kevin Holland slipped, he did slip the first time, but he bounced back up, and Derek Brunson basically put him right back down on his butt with a solid hook. I mean, it put Kevin Holland right back down on the canvas. That was a legit knockdown. But although he wasn't back on his feet, he didn't have his balance, yeah, you could argue it, but back to what I was saying. I did think that Kevin Holland was going to win due to the fact of the defensive mistakes Derek Brunson makes. He kind of, whenever you plot towards him with that chaotic, whenever you put him in chaos on the back foot, the only thing he thinks is to swing back or grab. Swing back or grab. He kind of shells up and immediately tries to grab you or just tries to swing back, not necessarily looking at where he's throwing. And while he's throwing, his chin is up in the air for the taking. Kevin Holland made him pay for that, dropped him, but it was a massive sign of low fight IQ. And also, Kevin Holland could have just been gassed, but he dropped Derek Brunson, and instead of picking his shots and stepping back and hitting him with more good shots, he waited towards him, and Derek Brunson was able to grab the legs again and take Kevin Holland right back down. And so that's where it lies for me. He has to get better at his grappling defense, Kevin Holland. He has to, if he's going to compete with these bigger guys. He absolutely has to. And as for Derek Brunson, he wants to fight Paulo Costa next. So the thing is about that Paulo Costa fight, that is a good fight. If it goes past 3 rounds, if it goes past the second round, I can see Brunson winning that fight. But in the early rounds, that's a really tough. The first 2 is a really tough fight for Derek Brunson. It's a really tough fight for him due to the fact that though Derek Brunson is a lot more patient now, the guy is absolutely killing it. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He still has the defensive and offensive errors, which is blitzing in with the punches, with his chin absolutely in the air, just ready for the taking. He didn't do it much this time. Shooting for takedowns, which is basically, the way he shoots for takedowns is basically begging for somebody to knee him in the face. It's basically asking for it. And Paulo Costa, unless he freezes up like he did in the Izzy fight, if he comes out there and apply the chaos to him, that's a really chaotic fight. That could create some problems for Derek Brunson. Because on the back foot, he shells up and he only thinks grab. He only thinks to grab, or he thinks to swing back with his chin in the air. That is not going to cut it. If Paulo Costa cracks him one time in that fight, the fight will be extremely close to being over. He showed some veteran heart today in this fight, but Kevin Holland can crack, don't get me wrong. But Paulo Costa, though he's not as powerful as people say, he's not a one-shot killer, he is a better finisher than Holland. He is. I think he's a better finisher than Holland, and more, we'll put it like this, I wouldn't say better finisher, but a more ferocious finisher than Kevin Holland. I can absolutely see him capitalizing, but I can also see Derek Brunson negating that offense, neutralizing that offense of Paulo Costa, taking him to the ground and making him work for those 2 rounds to where he'll be fighting a completely gassed Paulo Costa in round number 3. But good fight. I think that they should make it. As for our guy, Kevin Holland, that's a tough one for him. I don't want to see him go back to fighting tomato cans again. I don't want to see that. Honestly, the loser out of Till and Vittori. Yeah, it may seem a little weird. Or the loser out of Gastelum, and I would love to see him fight Gastelum. Honestly, win or lose, obviously Gastelum will be looking past. He wouldn't want to fight somebody like Kevin Holland. But if Kelvin Gastelum loses to Robert Whittaker, dude, I would love to see that fight. I would love to see a Kelvin Gastelum and Kevin Holland throwdown. That would be fireworks. But man, only due to the fact that I think Kelvin Gastelum will do a lot of standing with him. I think he'll go in there and try and stand with Kevin Holland. And the power of Kevin Holland is tricky and chaotic. Kevin Holland throws a lot of chaotic stuff, which can catch. I think that they'll go back and forth with it on the feet. I think, though, I ultimately do see Kevin Holland winning that fight due to the length and Kelvin Gastelum being pretty one-dimensional at times. But great night of fights. I enjoyed it. Yeah. So the holes in Kevin Holland's game, what I think he should fix is his gas tank, and his wrestling and grappling defense. Bottom defense is pretty good. Bottom defense is pretty dang good. But he has to. Also stop underestimating his competition. Also, I need to throw that out there. but he has to, man. Unless he's gonna put some more muscle on him, he can't be getting bullied in the clinch like that. He cannot be getting bullied in the clinch or in the grappling like that, because a lot of people is gonna try and take advantage of him like that. But the stand-up is ultimately good from Kevin Holland. He's just a little chaotic, a little wild in there, and I think that leads to why he gasses out. But other than that, yes, I would love to see how he bounces back from this. It'll be really interesting. But for Derek Brunson, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing pretty good. Though it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, though I say BS on that because Stipe Miocic begs to differ. But, man, Derek Brunson, I'm going to just say this. If that was Adesanya who cracked, although we've seen that fight, if that was somebody else who had the veteran savvy like an Adesanya who cracked Derek Brunson like how Kevin Holland did, I would just say it wouldn't be as pretty. If for somebody to stand back and technically snipe at him, like how Kevin Holland should have done, though it's not really in there. He thought go in there wild and try and finish him. If that was a more smart striker in there, Derek Brunson would have got finished right then and there. He has to correct those offensive mistakes and those defensive mistakes because he does it on both. He has his chin wide in the air when he's rushing forward, and on the back foot in the chaotic exchanges, he freezes up and he tries to grab you or just swing back with his chin in the air. That's not going to work against these technical snipers like Darren Till, freaking even Paulo Costa and Israel Adesanya, or Robert Whittaker. He will get KO'd by Whittaker again if he does not fix that. But it's been your boy Trippy, and I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on this, and I'll see y'all in the next video.